All right, the visuals you're seeing on your screen out of Prime Minister Modi in Bengaluru today, holding a road show as it embarks his two-day visit to the poll-bound state of Karnataka, his 9th visit to Karnataka actually since February, and the state is to go to the polls on the 10th of May. And the BJP has been holding a huge Super Saturday for the BJP, really. They've been bringing in their big names, the big guns brought in from Delhi today. JP Nadda, Rajnath Singh, all of them along with Prime Minister Modi, of course, the headliner here. All day campaigning, winding up the end of his first day in the state of Karnataka with this massive road show. Shrija joins us now. Shrija, so the climax, we can see the Prime Minister's road show starting off there and him being showered by petals by BJP workers who have lined the streets. What's the plan?
Well, the campaign blitz by Prime Minister Narendra Modi just begins, and this is the first road show that we're seeing here on the streets of the IT capital. This is the North Bengaluru constituency that we call it. And yes, it's a mega road show. What we witnessed was tens and thousands of people who had gathered right here to just wave at Prime Minister Narendra Modi. It becomes very crucial for basically the BJP and also the Congress, because it's a do or die for them. For BJP, you know, it's a struggle definitely, because at a time they're facing this huge anti-incumbency wave with 40% corruption allegations. We're looking at how central leaders are making frequent visits, especially to across the state of Karnataka, crisscrossing the region in a way to show that, you know, according to leaders, which they call it as Modi magic. But how much of it will translate into votes, we're only going to see this when the results are announced on May 13th. But again, you just have few more days to go, at least about less than 2 weeks, and Prime Minister Modi has already begun his campaign blitz here in Bengaluru's North constituency. Now, it's very, very important for the BJP, this one constituency where we are reporting from, which we call it the Yeshwantpur. It is the second largest constituency, and in fact, we see that there are at least about a little over 5 lakh voters in this very constituency. And you know, to talk about especially the BJP, there are several in terms of the candidates. We're talking about at least about you know, from the BJP side, you have ST Somsekhar. ST Somsekhar is someone who's engineered basically defections. That's more important. And also to show you more, in fact, in terms of people who have all gathered here just to show the presence of this particular constituency. And yes, of course, from the BJP side, you have ST Somsekhar, and that's one, of course, and ST Somsekhar is one. Secondly is from the Congress, you have, you know, Balraj. We understand he's someone, fresh face for the Congress, but for the JDS is again going to be a very strong fight here as far as the Bengaluru North constituency is concerned. It's a Vokaliga bastion, that's one. And secondly, it is always we've seen as the battle of Gaudas. So this is going to be this complete total excitement up here in the air. You know, tens and thousands of people have all come in just to wave their hands and show their show of, it's a show of strength, a complete show of strength, what we saw just you know, in support of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and of course in support of the BJP party. But again, it's going to be definitely a very, very close fight. And also, let's not forget, it's going to be a triangular contest here in the state of Karnataka in the less than 2 weeks when the state goes to polls on May 10th between the BJP, the Congress and the JDS.
All right, you're saying it's a complete blitzkrieg, Shrija, but how much of a challenge is it for the BJP? These were the polls that the BJP were hoping to do a Gujarat in Karnataka, and by that I mean phase out a generation of leaders and an overwhelming dependence on just one big caste group. That, of course, is the Lingayats. That's the gamble here.
Well, first, of course, the BJP for the first time tried to experiment something called the generational shift. Yes, they got in new candidates, fresh faces, but what we did see subsequently after that was, in terms of rebellion. Now, clearly, the BJP had to put up with that kind of rebellion. They had to quell the dissent, and you had several of, especially some of the senior leaders within the BJP, including Basuraj Bommai himself, talking about how, they are trying to do damage control. At one point, you had Basuraj Bommai himself saying that, yes, it's caused a huge damage to the BJP with Mr. Jagdish Shettar shifting to basically the Congress. And you had several people, in fact, talking about how, especially, in terms of as far as the BJP is concerned, definitely it's a huge battle for them. Yes, they are, in fact, looking at a huge anti-incumbency wave. 40% corruption is the allegations that they are battling at the moment. But, of course, the second thing what you have to look at is basically Congress, in fact, taking up on in terms of allegations with regard to 40% corruption, which they are battling as far as the, anti-incumbency wave is concerned. And then, of course, you have the Congress, which they are banking heavily on trying to break that anti-incumbency and just come back to power. So it's definitely a very close fight between the BJP and the Congress that we are witnessing at the moment.
A close fight, and in the middle of that, senior Lingayat leaders crossing over, rebelling and crossing over to other parties. That would lead the Congress to gain considerably at the cost of the BJP, Shrija?
Well, what we have to look at this moment here is, yes, Congress is trying to find ground here in the state of Karnataka. Yes, they are also eyeing a comeback because you have never seen a government, it's always been revolving governments because we have never seen a government retain its power. This was only last in 1985 when Ramakrishna Hegde, just came back to power. But ever since then, you've never seen in Karnataka's landscape, political landscape, any government or a party retaining its power. Now, that is something which we see right now. The BJP is trying to break and ensure it remains in victory. It becomes crucial for Prime Minister Narendra Modi because remember, we're talking about the Lok Sabha elections too, because this is something as far as Karnataka is the only state down south, that it has, voted the BJP to power. But clearly you have, on the other hand, the Congress trying to break that. Congress, in fact, ensuring that it will, come back to power. In a way, of course, you have Congress only basically, poll narratives. If you're talking about the previous elections, you've had especially how people talking about, the parties talking about whether that is agrarian crisis, farmer crisis, development, all these issues have taken, priority. But this time around, you have, political parties, in fact, hitting out at each other, whether that is 40% corruption narrative by the Congress against the BJP or for the BJP, that being the dynasty politics against the JDS and the Congress.
All right, Shrija there reporting on the Prime Minister's roadshow right now in Bengaluru, the climax of a long day of extensive campaigning, a blitzkrieg being rolled out by the BJP, the Prime Minister's 9th visit to the poll-bound state of Karnataka, 2-day back-to-back roadshows. This is a roadshow going through the capital city of Bengaluru. It will culminate with the Prime Minister speaking at some point at the end of this road show. That's the news for now. Stay tuned. We'll come back when the Prime Minister speaks.